Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Summer Soccer Showdown of 26 with the Qooligan, myself, Gary Striker. We are officially past the 1 week mark of the World Cup, as being now obviously Friday today, Juneteenth here in the US as well, as on a public holiday as well. Yeah. Happy Juneteenth as well, and well, we were just saying off air. Fatigue, football World Cup fatigue for me was beginning to take strain yesterday, so I kind of backed off and didn't lean in and watch all of the games, but definitely geared up and ready for today. I mean, we've got some absolute belters as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the US perform and if they can destroy Australia the way they did against Paraguay, and then also that Brazil-Haiti game. And of course, I think everyone's new favorite fans, the Scots against the Moroccans. That's going to be, they've really captivated the hearts, minds and souls of every single person in Boston. One of the clips I saw was one of these like youngest, when I say younger, there's like, early 20s. And she's like, I just want to say the Scottish fans have given me hope to just know that, please stay, because in about 9 months, there's going to be a lot of half Scottish and half Bostons that are born children, because these Scots are having a lot of fun over there by the sounds of it, which it made me chuckle.
Yeah.
It made me chuckle.
You may be fatigued, sadly, and I find that a major character flaw in and it's reflected in the way your team played. I mean, to be honest with you, what an embarrassment that was for England. I mean, every true child of Albion has got to be just hanging their head in shame. And I heard a rumor that King Charles was going to formally dissolve the monarchy and give England back to the Saxons after such an abysmal sarcasm, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
I know sarcasm with a very droll tone as well. There, Qooligan as well, really in it. Do you know Do you know how we've been speculating, or I've been speculating on permutations about sort of if the US finished second in the group and Iran finished second in the group, they could play each other. There is another permutation that if US win their group and England win their group, there is a world in which the US could play England. In Philadelphia on the 4th of July. Wow.
That would be awesome. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Yep. I like that a lot.
It was if the founding fathers projected it 250 years ago and said, "Here we go. This is where it's going to be."
Well, on the 250th anniversary of the United States, that's fascinating.
In Philadelphia, yeah. It just
if you're looking at it from the English perspective, the 250th anniversary of sedition.
They've come back.
That's both which are true statements. So that
the English are coming to take it back, coming back on the home turf and go and show you what's for. Or another way, the Americans can have Tea Party 2.0, right, and can go for it again, right?
That's very true. That's very true. Either way, that would be fun. I haven't even looked and studied the bracketology yet. Although now that we finally have our first confirmed team going through, it's probably worth an example. It's probably worth looking at that and just seeing maybe what some potential things are. I'm not going to do it today, but I'll have it prepared. I'll try to do that for tomorrow and get an idea.
Honestly, I think I'm with you as well, Qooligan. I haven't done it as well. It's just too early. It's too early, and there's too many variations to start thinking about it, right?
Yeah, but like you said, it is fun. It is fun to kind of look through and go, well, what happens if we go here? What happens if we go here? But yeah, it is far too varied, right?
Yeah, there's too many variables.
Too many paths. Too many paths.
Yeah. I will say the one that you did show me was the Guardians one that you sent.
Oh, no, I love that one because you can just slap things in and click, and it's just beautiful. Well done.
Yeah.
Guardian.
So go on Guardian. Yeah. So go and check out the Guardian on that one if you want to play with the bracketology. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into the games. Do you want to start touch on some of yesterday's games?
We skipped yesterday only due to some HVAC emergency work that had to be done at my domicile, and then I would say Mr. Striker's just general lack of enthusiasm for this tournament, where he goes, "My errands are more important than this podcast." That's a direct quote, by the way.
Professionalism to the highest standards, as always.
Hey, what can I say? When the HVAC people can only come in a certain window, you got to play the window, right? But your errands probably could have waited.
And
you chose instead to run those.
To run those errands
for the benefit of yourself and your family, and not for the benefit of our listeners. I get it. It's okay. I don't know if the listeners will forgive you, but I certainly will not either. So there you go. Let us get into it. So we will not be discussing England and their terrible, terrible game against Croatia because there's not really anything to say.
I got a little bit tipsy in a bar, I have to say, here in Austin with, and got very carried away. It was wonderful to see.
You were more than that. I was reading between your texts. I was reading between your texts the absolute state of your liver sloshing around in your beer distended belly. It was good, but it was a phenomenal game. Truly, I think the highlight of the first tranche of games was that one, in my opinion. Just for the absolute chaos of the first half, and then the somewhat ruthlessness with which England dispatched. It was very, in a way, sort of almost un-English the way that they finished that out. But enough about them.
Enough of that. Yeah,
we know they've got no future, and that it's gonna, From yesterday's games, let's see. You called them interesting. I would lean a little more into that.
That was a euphemism for I didn't watch all of them as well. So yeah, explain to me what happened with the Canada.
I speak fluent Striker, so I do understand what all of the subtexts are.
No, something happened in the Canada game, right?
Oh, dude, that was not. I don't want to discuss that. That was horrible.
But what? So yeah. So again, I took a little bit of a hiatus. So but my understanding, someone was it leg breaking tackle or something like that, and then a red card, but like bad Canadian leg break, right?
It was bad. I don't know the full extent of it or whether it's upper or lower. I actually will admit I was working on a story and I had the audio and I heard it happen, but I didn't see it happen, and they would not replay it under any circumstances. So it was that bad. Okay. Yeah, it was that bad.
Yeah.
So the good news is that Kone was he was sitting up and waving to the crowd as they were wheeling him off.
Okay.
But the leg was fully immobilized. I haven't this morning woken up and found out what the full extent of it was.
Okay.
I will also state that the Qatari player who initiated the tackle was genuinely despondent on the side before he even got the red card.
Yeah.
He was genuinely despondent. You could see he was like, you could tell he was going, really, I didn't mean that. I swear I didn't mean that. And I think it was genuine, right? At the end of the day, regardless of the passions that go into this game, regardless of that red mist phenomena you'll hear people talk about, all of these men are professionals, and they all understand the inherent dangers of the sport being a contact sport, but they also aren't there's a handful of players that are intentional assholes, right?
Yeah.
Vinnie Jones was an asshole. He played a role, but he played a role with vigor and gusto. This guy's not a Vinnie Jones. He wasn't going for the guy. He got his red card. His tournament's done. That's enough. He apparently also made his way, found Kone after the game and apologized to him in person, right? I mean, it's like that. What more can you do? Now there were some incidences on the sidelines between the Qatari staff and the Canadian staff, and some things between the players. Emotions are high. All that happens. Fine. I'm not going to say anything negative about either side because they're just sort of following whatever it is. One thing that you can say is Canada absolutely whooped Qatar's ass, and they were doing it even before that happened.
Yeah.
They were doing it even before the first red card, right? And of course, that was the second red card that Qatar got. The first one was for a dog, so straight up, no argument. Yeah. Even the player himself, I think he stood up after the tackle and started. He took himself. He's like, I'm out.
It's one of those when they look at the referee. I get it.
No, he's like, I know what I did. Okay, I got it. Yeah. He didn't argue. I mean, to be fair, the second Qatar player, he didn't argue either. He just walked off the field. It is, and this is going to be one of those moments first of all, it's Canada's first win ever in a World Cup. So kudos to them, right?
Well done, yeah.
Plus, it gives them a +6 goal differential now. Now that is absolutely monstrous because in the earlier game, well, they're through. We just don't know in what position yet because they have to play Switzerland, and Switzerland that the game of Switzerland versus Bosnia is like so many of these games that have happened in the group phase. The second halves have been insane. In fact, if you were to go back through all of the games going through and you were to look at the score lines and everything, you'd go, when did all the magic happen? I'd say 90% of the time, 90% of the time, it was all in the second half. And
They
this
wake
game
up.
was the same way. 0 goals until the 75th minute, 5 goals afterwards.
Wow. Look at that. Yeah.
And
The momentum
that's
map
magic.
as well shows that as well. Like you can
Mhm.
also see on the momentum map what is really interesting. I've noticed this new metric because it's for some reason I've never really paid attention to it, and I don't think it's been such a sort of front and center thing. You can tell exactly on these momentum maps when the hydration breaks are. You can see exactly where they are because either
Well, yeah.
basically one club just completely, one team just drops off, right? You can see in this one, right, sort of in that Bosnia-Switzerland one, just looking at the momentum map, they had a go at it, and then you can see exactly where the hydration break was, and then all of a sudden Switzerland turned it on, the goals
Yeah.
and the assists and the
You
magic
can
happened,
also do
right?
that by watching the game. But yeah, the momentum map is I like the momentum. I like the momentum, and I've used them before. And if you've ever looked at any of our stories, I include them in many of the in many reports that I do, and so do a lot of my fellow correspondents. It is a very cool visualization on the dominance of a game, and you can see certain things. I mean, if you look at the Qatar Switzerland, there is literally only a very tiny blip at the beginning, and it's all Canada going up.
So
And of course, you're playing
Qatar,
short, so that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, Canada, right? Not Switzerland. You did say Switzerland.
Excuse
Sorry,
me.
it was
Yes.
Canada.
No, that's
Canada,
that's
Qatar.
right.
Yeah, look at that momentum out there. 2 little blue dots on the bottom
No,
thing,
that's
and
it.
then it's all Canada. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
Canada. Wow.
I do want to make a call out. I mean, for because the Canadian player who replaced Kone had quite, it was quite a moment. He stepped up to a
Saliba,
free
right?
kick afterwards. It was
Yeah.
Saliba,
Yeah.
and just drilled it. I mean, it was one of the finer free kicks we've seen, and did the 8 right, and then held up Kone's jersey. I mean, it was a really nice touch, and you've got to feel for that young man who comes out. It's like, the only reason I'm here is because one of my teammates suffered a really terrible thing, but I'm going to make it the best we can. Also want to call out Jonathan David, who I'll admit I was a little harsh on him after that first game, and I think rightly so because he didn't perform. But boy, did he deliver in this one!
Yeah.
That volley that he took was just stunning. I think that was his 29th minute. I don't know. In fact, what's interesting is all 3 of Canada's first goals came off of rebounds. So none of them came out of with an assist. They all came out of, the Qatari defense's inability to really just clear their lines. And that would be Kyle Lauren, another, a veteran. We wrote a good expose about him on the site. A real veteran player for Canada, not one of the new up and coming young Canadian players. He's 30. He's been a journeyman. He plays all over. He bounces from club to club. He never really finds a permanent home, but he was the one who kept Canada in this tournament. And if they advance and go through to the knockout rounds, which I think they're virtually guaranteed to do, you're going to all have to raise your glasses to Kyle Lauren, because it was his goal that jump started that. Right. So good for him. Yeah, good for him. So now you got the prospect of, and by the way, and Switzerland was also an interesting story because everything happened after the hydration break, like you said. And why? Because Murat Yakin put in 3 super subs, right? He put in Sao, he put in the Vasquez kid, and he put in Johan Manzambi, which we called out. He was one of the players that I called out early as being one of the young up-and-comers. Manzambi, Vargas were responsible, and Sao were responsible for all of Switzerland's goals, either scoring them or
assisting.
in the case of Sao, drawing the penalty, right?
For Shaka,
So, yeah, that's a sign. That's fantastic coaching. Recognizing that who you have in there isn't doing it, making a change, and then letting those young guys go out there and be like, all right, we got this. Boom.
Yeah.
And I mean, just with hammers. And let's also give some props to young Erman Mamic from Bosnia, who in the 3rd minute of stoppage time hit one, I think, one of the purest strikes we've seen. That goal was magic. It's a shame that it happened in a loss because it'll get overshadowed. First international goal for that young man, and you're not going to hit a sweeter ball. The slow motion when it's got all the bodies and how it just weaves right through every single person, just going, damn, oh damn, magic. And it's ironic because the commentators gave the Switzerland goalkeeper a little bit of chin music because they said, this is why you don't punch balls out. Hold this thought, ladies and gentlemen. This is why goalkeepers shouldn't punch the balls out, because he hits this wonder strike. Well, in the final game of the day, we saw a classic example of why you shouldn't catch the ball as a goalkeeper. When the South Korean keeper attempted to play the ball up, it was a high ball, attempted to catch the ball, ended up inadvertently running into his own man, fumbling the ball, and gave Rolo, is it Rolo? What's Luis Romo. Yes, Luis Romo, the goal to advance Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's funny. We've seen some mistakes made in this World Cup, but we've never seen a blunder that bad that has directly led to such a devastating result for a team. That will haunt him.
Well,
because, yeah.
I have to say, I was surprised by that South Korea-Mexico results, because I do think South Korea are probably the better team and better well organized. Yeah, but Mexico with a home field advantage. And now look at that. If you look at Group A and Group B, both host nations, 2 or 3 host nations topping their groups. And I'll go as far as to say qualified as well. Mexico absolutely qualified. Canada with that goal difference as well. They're definitely in that top 3. Even if they,
Canada's really, in Canada. Yeah. 4 points is in. Yeah. 4 points is in. There's no way that you can. Yeah.
With a +6 goal differential as well. That's it. They're good.
Mathematically, somebody did the math. And if you have 4 points, you cannot not advance. So okay.
I mean So well done to those 2 host nations. That is fantastic. And Mexico now
really
also
fascinating. Mexico will now play their next 3 matches.
3 games in Mexico, and they've got the tailwind behind them, and they could, if England win their group and they keep playing like that, as Nick Brisson was on here was saying as well, then England will have to go to Mexico City and play at the Azteca, that cauldron, and that will not be a welcoming environment. So yeah, never mind the air-conditioned comfort of Texas stadiums as well. Welcome to Mexico, south of the border, baby. It's
and Canada, game. If they win, get 2 more. They also get more games in Canada, which is going to be big for them too, right? So kudos to both host nations for recognizing that moment and when it needed to happen. Yeah, the South Korea-Mexico game was a good game from I guess just watching a game in real time, it worked out. Statistically, it was abysmal. I mean, it was just an awful, in terms of all of its stats and everything, not good. But hey, sometimes they can't all be bangers, right? I mean,
you grind out the results.
You had an XG of 0.48 for Mexico, 0.69 for South Korea.
Yeah, but yet
I cannot believe, and really, it came down to goalkeepers.
Yeah,
right. And Raul Rangel delivered. That should be. I don't see anything else happening, and there's a lot of games left to play, but I don't see a goalkeeping effort being more important or more astounding than what he did in the closing minutes of that game. With the first kick block that he does, when he's in a prone position, he then leaps up with one hand and grabs the ball from about 4.5 feet up in the air and pulls it down. I was off my couch and jumping up and down, screaming, going, "Holy crap!" It was remarkable. Absolutely remarkable.
Okay.
Yeah, and let us. Well, no, because I have to give the Bafana a little love. No. Because they were buried. They were dead. They were buried. There was nothing for them. No chance. And yet
they squeezed out a penalty. They squeezed out a penalty with 7 minutes to go. 7 minutes of extra play to go. Right. So yeah, they tried. I say this with all the love for Bafana, and as I mentioned, having lived in that beautiful country for many, many years and formative years of my life. But South Africa as a football team are terrible. They are really not very good, are they?
Well, They weren't bad in this game. That's the thing. They weren't terrible in this game. Once again, they outplayed Czechia in shots. They outplayed Czechia in shots on frame. They outplayed Czechia in touches in the opposition box. They outplayed them every week. Czechia fouled more, right? They outplayed them. Their XG was higher. So South Africa beat Czechia in all of the sense. They just didn't do it in the score line. Okay,
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah.
right? But at least they're not going away. They're not flying back to South Africa going, Jesus, we've embarrassed ourselves. Not after this game. Not after this game, right?
Well, we'll see what happens against South Korea.
Now we see what happens, because this is where rubber meets road and everything comes down. South Korea is going to be hell-bent on getting their points and making sure that they get through, right?
Yeah. Oh, I think South Korea will get through with 3 points. They'll be fine. It's just where they get through second or third really is the real
No, but I
question
also
here,
think that they'll beat South Africa. I don't think that they're going to beat South Africa. This Mexico team against Czechia might not happen.
Yeah, Mexico
might not happen. They have been okay.
Yeah, that's the
but
thing.
They have not been
great.
scintillating.
They've not been great. They've got to ground out that result, and then obviously the draw against the win against South Africa was okay. And yeah, let's see what happens. You can say that they haven't conceded a goal, and that, as you said, that goalkeeper in particular as well. What's his name? Rangel was fantastic. Eh? He was really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
But we've got a bunch of games that are coming on today that are going to be really enticing.
I'm strapping in. Strapping in. I am going. Yeah, taking the family down to go and watch that. I am genuinely. I have never been so excited to look forward to a US soccer match and see them play, because if they play just like they did against Paraguay, the Socceroos don't stand a chance. There is a tidal wave coming at them, and it will be interesting to see if they can facilitate it. And what I will say, we were watching some of the Fox coverage as well, and they have sort of the on-site sort of Fox Soccer sort of reporter with the microphone, and Jenny Taft, and they kept leading.
Worst job in the World Cup, man, having to be embedded with the U.S. men's national team. My Lord.
She has to like go and find stories in a way, right? And she kept sort of like leading with like, is Pulisic going to be fit? Is he going to be fit? And everyone's like, relax, he's fine, he's okay. And she's like, well, it's unsure. And is he doing restricted training and all this stuff? He's fine. He's absolutely fine. There is no story. Pulisic is going to come out there.
He's not as of last night.
Really? What happened?
No, he's now questionable. They've not confirmed that he'll play.
Okay.
Now, this could all be a bunch of second guessing and various other things.
This is media narrative games, I think.
I would not be surprised to see him not start.
It would be a shame if he doesn't start. That's the biggest weak link that the US have is Pulisic's fitness.
I think he's far more injured than people think he is. I think they downplayed everything and they were waiting to see, and I don't think it's been going particularly well. I mean, we'll see what happens. And this is where Poch is going to have to go through. This is where Poch is going to show what he's made of. Because is he going to risk putting Christian out there, knowing that the last time that he played Australia, he was out for months because they absolutely hammered him.
They'll just kick him out. Yeah.
And that's what they're going to do. Look, Australia, they play a rough brand of soccer. All right. You're talking two soccer playing nations coming after each other. Australia's got no qualms about going full body line on him.
Rugby versus American football style, right? Is that it?
No, I mean, it's if you're Australian, you know about the historicity of the Old Ashes campaign, right? Where England was accused of throwing the ball directly at the player. And they've adopted that in some ways as a cultural motif in some of the sport that they play. No, I'm not suggesting that this is a New Orleans Saints. We're putting bounties on players to go in and get yellow cards or get tackles. That's not the case here, but they're gonna be going after all the American players. And if you're in that strategy, you have to go after Christian Pulisic because he is the star playmaker for the United States, right? They weren't as good when he wasn't on the pitch. I'm hearing people talk about how Gio Reyna and Sebastian Berhalter came on and did this crap. That's bull crap. They didn't have the same effect. Reyna made a nice goal, but he didn't have an effect. Berhalter was very ineffective in my opinion. He just wasn't the same as Christian was. So No, we don't know. We'll wait and see. An hour before, we'll see what the lineup is. And if he's in it, great. If he's not, I know why. I think I know why, but you'll see him come on late.
Let's see. They'll hopefully throw him out. And I agree. Like, it's their biggest strength, but also their biggest weakness, which is his muscles and the sort of condition of those muscles, right? And you're right. If you're an Australian, if I was the Australian coach, I'd be like, guys, just kick him, and he'll go down. And
Totally.
Unfortunately, I hate to say this, he is a little bit sort of, mentally, he can get rattled quite easily as well. And I say this as a Chelsea fan, having seen him play many times, he gets rattled too easily. But what I am very excited to see is Balogun. Second in the goal scoring tally.
Absolutely.
Can he bang a few more in and go and sort of, because this race for the golden boot all of a sudden is hotting up. I know Messi's run away with it. All the big guys went and got 2 goals except for Cristiano Ronaldo. Everyone else is sitting on 2 while Messi's sitting on 3.
We forgot Jonathan David got a hat trick.
And Jonathan David did get a hat trick. You were absolutely right. So yes, we will go and see that.
No, and really, it's funny. With all this talk about what's up front, really, it's going to come down to the defenders. Right. This is a real test. Paraguay didn't really represent much of a test. And by the way, the U.S. defense failed in Paraguay. Right?
Yeah.
They didn't do, they
let them in. Yeah.
There are only a handful of teams in this World Cup that have 0 saves. All right. The U.S. is 1. Argentina is 1. But guess what? They didn't have any shots on frame, all right? Algeria had 0 shots on frame.
Yeah. So, Emi Martinez's broken finger didn't get tested. Yeah.
DR Congo is another one that didn't have a save, right? Portugal only had 1 shot on frame. So did Paraguay. So this is not exactly a robust goalkeeping line and defensive line that's coming in here. So they didn't perform poorly, but they didn't step up when it was needed the most. And they had a 3-goal pad, so it didn't matter. I don't think they're going to have a 3-goal pad against Australia. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, Australia will be a bit more of a challenge than Paraguay, admittedly. And again, like what is also helpful for the US is they're kind of easing into this tournament as well. It's not like they have to go and face a Brazil or a sort of tier 1 team in that sense. True. So they've had that.
And then, of course, Australia had 8 saves, right? So let us also remember. Now, I don't think Beach can have 2 games like that in a row. Maybe he can. And if he does, kudos. But you got to be a little worried, right? Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. It'll be fun. Regardless, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be absolutely fun. And then speaking of fun, Scotland, Morocco.
Yeah.
Back at Gillette Stadium is Boston, right? Am we getting
Boston?
That?
Yeah.
I mean, Boston.
Well, it's Foxborough, but it's
and so because they played. Where did they play that game in Gillette Stadium? So Scotland have just taken over Boston.
Well, it's not. Remember, Gillette Stadium is not in Boston. All right?
Yeah, but basically it's the New England area, and they're basing themselves. They're drinking in Boston, right?
And it is. Yeah, I mean, the buses going down there are going to be. I mean, they're going to be floating down rivers of beer. But
one of the comments from the bar owners as well is we basically assumed St. Patrick's Day again, and we were like, wrong. It was 3 times St. Patrick's Day.
That's correct. That is correct. And the nice thing is Scotland will be able to play in their dark blues, right? Because they're home, so they won't have to play in that odd sort of like, I don't know what color you'd call that, salmon. I mean, it's like, I don't know,
Scottish salmon,
yeah. But Scotland will be able to play in their blues. Morocco should be able to play in their. They should be able to play in their red and greens because there's no conflict. But I don't know what they're going to decide. I have to admit, I am rooting for Scotland, but I am not expectant of a win.
With you on this one. I am with you on this one. I think Morocco should be the more dominant team. Although, again, just looking at the Moroccan performance was not great against. I mean, it was okay against Brazil. It was a pretty flat game, to be honest. Yeah,
but it wasn't terrible. But it was. I was expecting. Listen, that whole game sucked. I'm sorry. The Morocco-Brazil game. I understand from a purely football perspective, it wasn't that bad, but from somebody watching it with the hype, it sucked.
I
think this match will be so much better.
Might have taken a dad nap in the last quarter of that game. It was that boring. Yeah.
Yeah.
other one I am interested to see is, I don't know if you saw, there was some sort of unfortunate sort of news regarding Ashran Hakimi. I don't know if you saw this as well.
No, I didn't.
There was an allegation against him, and he's got to appear in court for some of his conduct as well. We don't need to go into it too much as well, but that's also going to be a psychological thing holding over his head. Apparently in Paris one night in a nightclub, there's been an accusation against him. So we'll see how that impacts his performance and sort of whether he starts and whether he gets hooked. So just keep an eye out for that. I agree with you. The prevailing narrative would be that Morocco should be able to get over Scotland here, but again, just the Tartan Army, they seem to have captured the nation's heart and mind. And yeah, I as an Englishman with an American passport who has no connections to Scotland sort of directly here, I do want Scotland to win, which is a rarity as well. The only other time I've wanted a Scot to do well was Andy Murray during Wimbledon, but yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well,
okay. Speaking of, and then the other group, and then you got Brazil against Haiti. They're playing at Lincoln Field.
Yeah, I gotta say, Haiti's entire job in this game is to
counter.
Well, no, it's to not embarrass themselves. I actually think parking the bus is the wrong approach. If you're gonna go out and you're gonna go down,
go swinging.
Go down playing pretty, as pretty as you can. All right. Haiti needs to do what Haiti does, which is confound people, surprise people, shock them with something that they didn't think they were capable of. That's always been Haiti's best attribute, is that nobody really knows how they play. So do that against Brazil. Be resilient, be stubborn, be physical, be a little nasty. Play and have a wonder moment where you completely put them back on their heels and make Lincoln Stadium believe that you have it. That's your job. At the end of the day, the scoreline doesn't matter.
I have a feeling that they're gonna. I have a feeling that it's going to be a shock result here. I think you're going to get a draw here. I think there's going to be.
Are you pulling an Al Hilal? Are you pulling an Al Hilal moment? I like it.
No. And your Al Hilal call in the Club World Cup was just ayahuasca level batshit crazy. This is a little bit more.
You're not licking the frogs.
Brazil.
You're just saying a draw. Okay.
Just the mushrooms. Haven't quite gone to the frog level, but I think I just have a feeling Brazil have not been all that. Again, this Neymar's not. They've announced Neymar's still calf issue as well, so he's just been a mascot.
I heard he's not even traveling. I heard he's not even traveling.
He'll be there. He'll be standing on the sideline. He'll be standing on the sidelines like a sort of a jealous girlfriend as well. But
no, I swear I don't even think he's going to be in the stadium. I thought they weren't traveling with that. He wasn't even traveling.
He'll go there. What else are you going to do? Sit at home and just what?
He's got enough money. He can do it. He can travel himself, even if he doesn't go with the team. So
he will go, but he will not be on the squad. That's for sure because of his calf. And again, I just looking at this group.
No, again, you look at that. You look at that like roster spot and the immense talent that could be there, and instead it's sitting with a swollen calf and a swollen calf and a swollen face of an over the hill Neymar.
Wow, we're really big fans of big fans of Neymar and Ronaldo on this side of the show.
No,
again, really. Sarcasm, giving you sarcasm.
But I will say this: Ronaldo's chiseled. That man is fit.
There's no doubt he looks after himself. But
he looks after himself. He's ripped.
But you need to know when the party's
good-looking man,
over.
handsome man.
Oh, man crush. Okay, and then this
evening's game, aesthetically very pleasing.
He does look up. No one buys it.
Speaking of aesthetically not pleasing, let's go to the last game, which is Türkiye versus Paraguay. I mean,
come on, Turkey, pull it out.
Türkiye, they've got to recognize that after a disappointing opening, they gotta just. This is it. If you don't show up now, you're done.
I think
they know it.
Yeah, I'd like to see these two kids, Yildiz and Gula. I'd like to see Yildiz start and Gula sort of pass a little bit more. I felt he was just probably trying to do a little bit too much in that first game, and that was partly their downfall. And Turkey should be competitive and should be able to get out of here.
This should be a win for them. But then again, a lot of people thought that Australia should have been a win for them too, and they didn't.
That's true.
They just did not produce. So I think you'll see a shakeup, a little lineup change. But no, Paraguay is no Australia. They're not as good as Australia by any means. And so I don't want to say a walk in the park, but my goodness, as you've said, they need that early goal. If Turkey doesn't get a goal in the first half, the doubt creeps in.
Yeah,
right?
the
You
angst,
start
the
getting
angst. Yeah.
the anxiety, and that's when you really see people stop and abandon their fundamentals. They abandon the passing game. They abandon a lot of what makes Turkey good is the fact that they do play very creatively. They do play somewhat unselfishly.
Yeah,
They
I agree.
create great moments, and then instead you're desperately trying to do it all yourself. It's
Indeed.
not going to work. That's not going to
Indeed.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Qooligan, another day, another World Cup day, another
Another day,
wonderful
another 4
matches as
games.
well.
Yep.
Yeah, another 4 games as well. Yeah, definitely looking to that US game. Definitely interested in the Scotland game. In fact, all of these games, and then even tomorrow. Have you seen the fixtures tomorrow? Oh my god! Wow,
No,
great fixtures tomorrow.
it's all
It's
good.
all of them are good. Yeah, all
All
of them are
good.
good. Yeah, except for I will say Father's Day on Sunday. Probably sort of a little flat in some of the competition, but we definitely get a good dose of games on Saturday, so we can.
No,
look forward to
I'm
those for
I'm
sure.
excited for New Zealand, Egypt because I've got a very Kiwi leaning child who very passionate about New Zealand, and I'm gonna go watch that with my New Zealand kit on because I have
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Qooligan, as always, editorial copy flowing thick and fast, hooligan-soccer.com. Like, follow, subscribe, please. It really does help. More again tomorrow. Speak to you later.
Peace.